got? Okay, let me share my screen. So, pound yen. Oh, wait. Did my screen just freeze again? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just that you're still sharing. I haven't seen it yet. Still
all right. Okay, I think my screen is back. Awesome.
It's up. Okay.
Okay, great. So, pound yen, BOE may start talking about rate hike. Don't bother about what that talking about means. Okay, it's basically something that Jerome Powell came up with, okay, months ago. But anyway, all right. So the motivation behind this trade idea is actually a straddle setup. All right. So this trade idea was fired out was sent out on 13th of September. Okay, I think like few days after the Bank of England's, I would say the committee members' testimony in front of the Parliament, UK Parliament, okay, on inflation report and monetary policy report. All right. So I think I've mentioned this several times already. Okay, during that meeting, okay, Bailey actually highlighted that half of the committee members actually felt that the conditions for a discussion of an increase in interest rates has been met. So that sort of like led to a strengthening of the pound. Okay, so apparently, okay, I'm just going to jump straight to the chart. Apparently, it did not really break out of this zone. Okay, as you can see, highlighted by this purple region over here. Okay, this 100 and around 140 pips zone. Okay, so apparently the inflation testimony, okay, that time wasn't, in a way, it wasn't strong enough, to break above this purple region. Okay, nonetheless, I drew it out, and then we just leave it there and let it run. Okay, so eventually, okay, it actually got triggered, okay, on the 20th of September, which is indicated by this vertical yellow gold dotted line over here. Okay, so I think that was last Monday, okay, when the whole Evergrande issue, kind of like shook the market. The market was actually worrying that the Evergrande saga may actually be the next Lehman, may repeat the whole Lehman saga again. So, there was a strong sell-off, okay, in risky assets, risky currencies like pound, okay, and the demand of safe haven assets increased, all right, which led to this strong 160 pip downward move by pound yen, okay. So it actually triggered the sell stop order at 150 at 800, yes, 150.800, and it actually, within the next one day or so, it actually went close, okay, it actually come down close to my TP level of 200 pips, okay. So I think it's some, oh my goodness, I cannot imagine I'm doing this. It's some like 10 to 15 pips away from hitting the take profit level, okay. But it actually bounced back, okay. It actually bounced back, and I think 3 days, 2.5 days later, during the on the 23rd of September, okay, that was the day that the Bank of England will actually be announcing their monetary policy decision, okay. So prior to that decision, hours before, I actually closed a trade and notified Traders Club members on, just close this trade. Yes, the profit is meager, okay, meager in terms of when it comes to what do you call that, the swing trading, okay. Of course, 61 pips is a lot when it comes to like intraday trades, right? But when it comes to swing trades, it's, but I personally feel that there was the risk, okay. If I were to hold on to it, I may actually turn this winning trade into a losing trade, all right, which was why I actually sent out a message telling traders, if you guys actually take up this trade idea, just close this trade, right? So I actually closed this trade for 61 pips, and true enough, okay, during the central bank meeting, okay, well, I actually covered this whole thing back in the post video, right? So long story short, they actually mentioned there is actually a possibility of a rate hike later this year, all right? Now, like Reason being because they actually mentioned in the monetary policy meeting minutes that we don't need to stop. We don't need our QE to end before carrying out an interest rate hike. Okay, that is the key point. All right, that's the key point that sort of like in a way surprised the market. All right, leading to many analysts on Wall Street to actually carry forward their projection of the first rate hike by the Bank of England. Okay, so I closed at this yellow horizontal line over here, right? And a few days later, it actually went close, once again, close to my stop loss level. I would have had a heart attack by then, to be honest. Okay, turning a profitable trade into a losing trade. Okay, so at the moment, it's actually trading, close to the level that I closed. All right. If you guys actually left the trade running, you would have been a roller coaster ride. You come close to the TP level of 200 pips. You guys thought that you might actually, get the money and that's it. But then you actually went all the way back up to a stop loss again, close to stop loss level again. All right, giving you a second round of heart attack. Okay, roller coaster ride before coming back down. Okay, at the moment it's still uncertain. All right, and with all the whole Evergrande saga going on and upcoming monetary policy meetings in October, nobody knows what's going to happen, right? So I guess my main key point to be made over here, okay, in terms when it comes to trading, is that I think I made this point a couple of days ago or yesterday, right? When it comes to trades coming close to the TP level, coming close to your TP level, all right, you may actually want to consider closing your trade. But as to how to do it, it can be ideally, okay, the reasons must be constructive. Okay, constructive meaning, like, for example, I closed my trade over here. I could have closed my trade one day before, okay, but personally at that time, one day before the Bank of England meeting, I felt that, it's still a bit too early, okay, but then, the next day it actually shot up and I decided to close it like halfway into the day. All right, so constructive reasons being like, we are actually expecting maybe a change in direction when it comes to a monetary policy decision or meeting, right? Like in this case, Bank of England, all right? Or maybe there's any change in political agenda, or maybe elections, or maybe the recent Evergrande saga. Okay, if let's say Evergrande right now would come out and say that we have raised enough money to pay back the interest to our bondholders, okay, then that will definitely be like I would say a relief sent across the market. Okay, so that can actually cause a resumption of a risk on sentiment carried out by the market, right? So you may start seeing things like yen weakening, dollar weakening, Swiss francs weakening, because traders out there, market participants out there are more risk. Their risk appetite has actually increased. Okay, and that is if the Evergrande saga, there's a change in event of the Evergrande saga. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, you can close your trade for profits as long as you have constructive reasons. Don't give reasons like, oh, because I just don't feel good that this trade is going to hit TP. I don't think this trade is going to hit TP. That's why I'm going to close it for 180 pips right now instead of waiting for my 200 pips TP to be hit. Okay, so don't give reasons that's more emotional kind of aspects. Okay, so you can also say that at this point over here, when I close my trade over here, you can see that the MACD indicators are turning, right? So if technical indicators are something that you guys use often, okay, like in this case, we are using two MACD indicators. One is the sped up indicator by Jin, all right? So it actually gave I would say a faster indication of a loss in momentum, a loss in downwards momentum in this case, okay, which is partly part of the reason why I closed my trade. All right, and of course, fundamentally, there's the upcoming Bank of England meeting. Okay, so with that, I've come to the end of my sharing of my trade ideas. Okay, with that, I'll hand it back to Scott.
All right, thanks, Kim Hong. And I've got a question here from Mary. Just wondering if the pound New Zealand long-term buy trade idea was still valid to take on. Just what your thoughts were on that.
Okay, so for the pound Kiwi, let me check. Let me get the chart up. The pound Kiwi trade idea is currently still running. All right. Let me pull up the chart quick. So I believe you are referring to this trade idea over here, right? Pound Kiwi. So yes, it got triggered on 28, 2 days ago, all right? But then, it actually came back down, okay? Another roller coaster ride, some 180 pips drop, okay? But it has since recovered at that time, all right? From that time. At the moment, okay, is the trade idea still valid? Yes, it is still valid, okay? Fundamentally speaking, all right? I'm still expecting the Bank of England to be hawkish, all right? I mean, after the recent monetary policy meeting, okay? On the other hand, okay, for the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, recall that they actually recently, Assistant Governor Hawkesby, okay, actually came out saying that, central banks around the world are actually considering interest rate hike at a denomination of 0.25%. Okay, that's actually hinting that the RBNZ may not be carrying out a 0.5% interest rate hike the next time around when they meet in October, which I believe is coming soon. All right. So fundamentally speaking, my bias is still bullish for pound and bearish for New Zealand dollar. Okay. Technically speaking, the indicators are still pointing upwards, right? Indicating a upwards momentum. So yes, to answer your question, is it still valid to take on? Oh, valid to take on. Okay. If you actually enter the trade, it's still valid to be hold open. Okay. To take on right now, I would still say, yeah, I would still say it's still valid to be taken on. Meaning, if you want to enter a trade on pound Kiwi right now, a buy trade, okay, it's still valid, all right? But just pay attention to the stop loss level, because I set my stop loss level at below this straddle, I wouldn't say straddle, but this range over here, right? So if I were to take on this trade idea right now, I would actually keep my stop loss at the same level and my TP at the same level as well, except that, okay, because the entry level is way below the original entry level, you will be in profit before me, right? Because it's you guys will be entering later and at a better price in this case. Okay, so yep, that's my answer to your question.
All right, thanks for that, Kim Hong.